Jack Osbourne has slammed Roger Waters in one of the most explosive celebrity clashes of recent memory, and the timing could not be more dramatic. Just weeks after the death of his father, the legendary Ozzy Osbourne, Jack has gone on the offensive, unleashing a blistering tirade against the Pink Floyd co-founder for comments that fans and critics alike have described as cold, arrogant, and downright disrespectful. This is not just a petty celebrity feud, this is a fight over legacy, memory, and respect. And in order to fully grasp why Jack's words have struck such a chord, we need to explore the history, the context, and the people involved. It all began in late July 2025. The world was still processing the devastating news that Ozzy Osbourne had died at the age of 76. Known universally as the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy was more than just a musician. He was a cultural icon, a pioneer of heavy metal, a reality TV star, and a survivor who had spent decades defying the odds. His death on 22nd July was met with an outpouring of grief. In Birmingham, his hometown, fans gathered in the streets to lay flowers and sing Sabbath classics. Across social media, tributes poured in from bands young and old, from Metallica to Post Malone, all acknowledging the massive influence Ozzy had left behind. His funeral on 30th July was private, attended by family and close friends, but the global mourning was undeniable. And then, as this collective grief was still raw, Roger Waters decided to make his opinion known. In an interview, Waters dismissed Ozzy's legacy as idiocy, mocked his infamous onstage antics, and brushed aside Black Sabbath's place in history. He quipped about the bat-biting incident, ridiculed the band's music, and claimed he had no respect for Ozzy as an artist. His tone wasn't neutral. It wasn't simply, "I don't like his music." It was belittling. It was mocking. And it came just days after the man's death. This was the spark that set Jack Osbourne ablaze. On 2nd September, Jack took to social media and delivered a scorching response that instantly went viral. His words were unfiltered, filled with pain, fury, and defiance. He called Roger Waters pathetic and out of touch. He accused him of spewing nonsense for attention. And in a line that hit harder than any insult, Jack wrote that his father had always thought Waters was a terrible person and thanked him for proving it. To punctuate his rage, he added a clown emoji and the hashtag that soon spread like wildfire, #Waters. Jack's post was more than just a son lashing out. It was a public defense of his father's honor, a declaration that Ozzy's legacy would not be tarnished by the careless words of a bitter man. Fans immediately rallied behind him, filling the comments with messages of support and unleashing their own fury at Roger Waters. Within hours, the story had exploded across tabloids, entertainment outlets, and music media. What began as one man's cruel dismissal had become an international debate. To understand why this moment has resonated so deeply, we need to rewind and look at Ozzy Osbourne's life and career. Born John Michael Osbourne in Birmingham, England, in 1948, Ozzy grew up in a working-class family. His childhood was difficult. He struggled with dyslexia, left school early, and drifted through odd jobs. But when he teamed up with Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward to form Black Sabbath in 1968, everything changed. Together, they invented heavy metal. Their music was darker, heavier, and more powerful than anything before it. Songs like Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs weren't just hits, they were cultural shifts. Ozzy's haunting voice and eccentric stage presence made him the face of a new era. By the late 1970s, however, Ozzy's lifestyle had caught up with him. His drinking and drug use became legendary, even by rock star standards, and in 1979, he was fired from Black Sabbath. Many thought that was the end. Instead, it was just the beginning. With the help of his wife Sharon, Ozzy launched a solo career that produced some of the most enduring rock anthems of all time. Crazy Train, M.R. Crowley, and Bark at the Moon cemented his place as a solo superstar. He became known for outrageous stage shows, unforgettable theatrics, and of course, the infamous 1982 incident in which he bit the head off a bat thrown onto the stage. What could have ended another career only added to Ozzy's mythology. In the 2000s, Ozzy reinvented himself once again with the Osbournes, a reality show that turned his family into household names. Viewers tuned in weekly to watch the chaos, the humor, and the bizarrely relatable family life of one of rock's wildest figures. Ozzy went from terrifying heavy metal god to lovable, bumbling dad, yelling, "Sharon," from across the house. For millions, this was their first introduction to Ozzy, and it made him more beloved than ever. Ozzy's later years were marked by health struggles. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, underwent multiple surgeries, and battled infections and complications that left him frail. Yet through it all, he continued to perform when he could, driven by a love of music and his fans. His final show in Birmingham on 5th July, just weeks before his death, was an emotional farewell. By the time of his passing on 22nd July, he had lived a life so chaotic, so unlikely, and so legendary that even his fiercest critics acknowledged his influence. That is the man Roger Waters mocked. Waters, of course, has his own towering legacy. As the bassist, lyricist, and creative force behind Pink Floyd, he helped craft some of the most iconic albums in rock history. The Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, The Wall, and Animals are monuments of progressive rock. They are ambitious, cerebral, politically charged, and endlessly analyzed. But alongside his genius came ego. Waters' relationships with his bandmates famously deteriorated, leading to his departure from Pink Floyd in the 1980s. Over the years, he's cultivated a reputation for being brilliant but unbearable, visionary but arrogant. He's feuded with bandmates, critics, politicians, and even entire governments. His outspoken political activism has kept him in the headlines as much as his music. This is why Jack Osbourne's response has struck such a nerve. Waters has long been criticized for dismissing others, for tearing down rather than building up. And now, in insulting Ozzy, he has taken aim at someone who cannot respond, someone who has just passed away, and someone whose family is still grieving. The imbalance of it all, the timing, the cruelty, the lack of empathy, has left many siding with Jack, regardless of their feelings about Ozzy's music. And Jack himself is more than just Ozzy's son. Over the years, he has built his own career as a TV personality, producer, and advocate. He has spoken openly about his own struggles with addiction and health. He was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in 2012 and has spent years raising awareness and pushing for better treatment and understanding. He is fiercely loyal to his family, often stepping in as the voice of reason or the line of defense. His words carry weight because they are not just those of a son mourning his father, but of a man who has lived his own battles in the public eye. The public reaction to this feud has been enormous. Fans have flooded social media with messages of support for Jack and tributes to Ozzy. Memes mocking Roger Waters have spread, casting him as a bitter old man desperate for attention. Music journalists have weighed in, many questioning why Waters would choose this moment to speak so cruelly. Even musicians who are usually silent on controversies have chimed in, praising Ozzy's legacy and indirectly rebuking Waters. What we are witnessing here is more than just a celebrity spat. It is a reflection of how we treat our cultural icons. It raises questions about respect, timing, and legacy. Is it fair to critique an artist after their death? Of course. But when critique turns into ridicule, when commentary turns into cruelty, especially in the immediate aftermath of loss, it becomes something else entirely. It becomes a violation of grief, a dismissal of the mourning process, a slap in the face not only to the artist but to everyone who loved them. Jack Osbourne's furious response is, in many ways, an extension of what fans were already feeling. He gave voice to their anger, their pain, and their refusal to let Ozzy's memory be tarnished. And in doing so, he has turned what could have been a passing controversy into a defining moment. As for Roger Waters, the fallout is still unfolding. His reputation has taken yet another hit, and though he has weathered controversies before, this one feels different. It is not about politics, where he can argue his point. It is not about Pink Floyd's legacy, where he can point to albums as proof of his brilliance. It is about compassion, humanity, and timing. And on those fronts, he has failed. The story of Jack Osbourne versus Roger Waters will likely continue to develop, but one thing is clear: Ozzy Osbourne's legacy is untouchable. His influence, his music, his humor, his humanity, all of it will endure long after this feud is forgotten. And if anything, Roger Waters' words have only made people more determined to celebrate Ozzy, to honor him, and to defend him. In the end, Jack's furious post may go down as one of the most powerful celebrity clapbacks of the decade, not because of the profanity, not because of the insults, but because of the truth behind it. A son stood up for his father, a family defended their loved one, and a world of fans reminded Roger Waters, and everyone else, that the Prince of Darkness is forever. Make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more celebrity updates just like this.